Ugh. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Rebel TV. Now, this is a Manchester United sale update. We've had a few updates in recent times, and I look forward to making this the first stream on talking about the possible sale of Manchester United. Obviously, I'm quite late into the actual update and everything, but at the end of the day, we are Manchester United fans, and we want the Glazers out is the main priority. So I've got Orist with me from Orist Talks Football. Hi, pal. Do you want to just introduce yourself?
Yeah, man, big up yourself. From us, football, big up to you, man, for inviting me. Yeah.
Well, anyway, so obviously Orist is also a Manchester United fan, but he's also a football fan as well. So he likes talking all things football. So I'll go and give him a sub if you've not seen his channel before. So anyway, Orist, let's just get right into talking about the Glazers and Sir Jim Ratcliffe. So as we know, the Glazers obviously have put Manchester United for sale since November now, and the front runners have always seemed to have been the Qataris and Sir Jim Ratcliffe. But a recent report have said from Sky Sports that Sir Jim Ratcliffe and the Glazers seem to be possibly be able to team up, where Sir Jim Ratcliffe will take up to 51% ownership of the club, so he gets the final say in everything, and he's the full rightful owner as he has the most percentage of ownership of the club. And the Glazers are reported to keep 20% of their current shareholds of Manchester United, so that would still keep them in power. What that would do for them, I don't know. Would they be investors? Would they just be taking profits from the club? I really don't know. But for me, this is a massive red flag if the Glazers and Sir Jim Ratcliffe team up, because if Sir Jim Ratcliffe is a Salford man, as he knows, if he's a United fan, then he should know the rage, the aggression every single Manchester United fan has against the Glazers. And for me, I think that Sir Jim Ratcliffe, it's just an investment for him as much as it is for the Glazers. So if it comes down to Sir Jim Ratcliffe, do you want him as a Manchester United owner?
Massive no. Yeah, listen, I don't believe in this theory that Ratcliffe's a United fan because he tried to book Chelsea before and stuff. So, I just pray. I'm praying on my knees that this doesn't happen, because what Ratcliffe's trying to do is trying to embed with the Glazers together. So he doesn't have the funds to get the full sale. So I don't want him. I've always wanted Qatar. So I just hope we don't get Ratcliffe. I've never liked him, even from the start. I never wanted him. I never wanted Ratcliffe. I know most United fans wanted him. I think it was from December, but I've never ever wanted Ratcliffe. Even the club that he owns, Nice, their own fans don't like him. So I've never wanted Ratcliffe. And people can say yes, he was born in Manchester, but no, man. He tried to buy Chelsea. If you try to buy, well, I won't say rivals now, but one of our rivals then, for me, man, I don't believe that part. Yeah, he's another Glazers 2.0 if he wants to buy the club and still want Glazers to stay. So for me, yeah, massive no.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I mean, for me, I've never wanted Sir Jim Ratcliffe either. When all the, let's say, match-going fans, the top Reds, let's call them, all these people that actually go to Old Trafford, the ones who wanted Sir Jim Ratcliffe at the start, they've completely been absolute hypocrites now, saying, oh, Sir Jim Ratcliffe's wrong for Manchester United, Qatari's in, this, and this. Like, these guys who have the privilege of going to watch Manchester United at Old Trafford every single week is a privilege. But just because you have that priority and have that privilege to go to Old Trafford to watch United at the fortress of Old Trafford that it is, doesn't make your opinion as strong as like sofa fans, as we get called, guys who watch on TV supporting our club. And it's just been proven many times throughout history that just because you go to every single match doesn't mean you know as much as a fan who watches the games from home. And for me, I think that now the match-going fans, or the top Reds as we'll call them, they've now completely reversed and be like, oh, pro-Qatari, the Qataris are this, because realistically, if you want to succeed in football, you have to have the money, you have to have the investments. And Sir Jim Ratcliffe has never been fully honest about his full plans with Manchester United if he became the new owner. And the Qataris have already said that the most they'll pay for Manchester United is their final bid, is what they've made most recent, which is £5 billion, or known as $6 billion. and they've got up to, I think the report said it's 2.8 billion extra for the infrastructure, the investment of the team, the reservation of Old Trafford, or possible new stadium. So the Qataris have been open from day one about their plans if they became Manchester United owners. Now, if I'm a fan, whether let's forget this is Manchester United, right? Let's say this is, I don't know, Arsenal. Let's say Arsenal are being bought out by them, right? If I could look at it from an outside perspective, and I've got two people who want to buy my club or Arsenal, you've got one doesn't want to buy the full ownership of the club as itself. They just want to buy a certain percentage so they can still have the final say. Or two, you've got the guys that are open about their plans. They want the full value of the club. They want the full 100%. I know who I'm going for because the guys who give you the plan, the guys who are honest from their ambitions and their actual what's the word, like, do you know what I mean? Like their intentions from day one. They're the guys that you want. They're the guys that you want who have been 100% honest from the start, and the guys you want in power. And that's how I feel about the Qataris. It's not about the human rights issues. It's not about the money. It's because, whether they had 100 million in the bank or whether they had 100 billion in the bank, it defines down to the logic of they have been honest, and that is something the Glazers haven't done in recent times as Manchester United owners. And Sir Jim Ratcliffe has not shown one bit of honesty since being in this race for Manchester United. All he said that he's come out and wants majority ownership of the club, which is 51%. So what are your thoughts on that? I'm just going to put some of the comments up now. One sec.
I agree with you, man. Listen, the reason why I want Qatar is not because of money and all of this nonsense. It's because, first of all, I think once they come in, I think they'll clear out the structure, which is massively leading, man. Those people that we have as like John Merritt and Richard Arnold, those two needs to go. I think they're scared now. Those two that they're going to lose the job now, which they should be. But now Ratcliffe, there's no plan. Ratcliffe has made no plans on what he's going to do when he gets Man United. But Qatari Sheikh Jassim says that he's going to invest in the youth and the facilities and stuff. So there's a plan for Sheikh Jassim, but with Ratcliffe, there's no plan. All he wants, I think you see rumors that he wants to bring Ed Woodward back. Nah, listen, Ratcliffe for me, he has no plan. He's only interested in that because it's an investment for him. He wants to make as much profits. He's a Glazer 2.0, man. He's a Glazer 2.0. So for me, listen, Qatar, they have their own plan. And yeah, I'm fully with it. It's not because of money. Some United fans want to see shit because of money, and because of summer transfer windows. For me, it's the structure that they'll put the right people in control. And for me, that they'll spend the money right. And with Ratcliffe, listen, he's a broke man. I don't get why people say, oh, he's got the money. He's a broke man, and he doesn't even have enough to buy us. So for me, yeah, Qatar, man, I can see their plan and vision for the club.
Yeah. Something else that I just want to bring up as well is that the Qataris have also said that they would clear all the debt that the Glazers have put Manchester United in over the years, which is, I think, if the reports are right, is £765 million is how much they've put us in debt over the years. The Qataris have said they'd wipe that debt clean. Sir Jim Ratcliffe has said that because he can't afford to wipe the debt, it'd have to stay in the club, which is why you keeping the Glazers part of your ownership then, if that's going to happen. It makes no sense. And it just, I don't care. It's not because the Qataris are really rich. We've already discussed this. But I don't care if we got Brighton's owners. I don't care if we got the Leicester owners that won the league. I want competent owners that want to run our football club properly, where they will invest where is needed, because Old Trafford's falling apart. We've still got iPhone 2s in the canteen to play Angry Birds, the first version. And it's crazy. I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo, he's a perfect example to bring up. When the whole Cristiano Ronaldo situation was brought up and he went on Piers Morgan and told about how crap the football club was from the inside and how it's rotting, Piers Morgan dug to get all the answers out of Cristiano Ronaldo, which was what was going to happen. And even though Cristiano Ronaldo slated Manchester United and wanted to leave Manchester United at the time, I personally think Ronaldo got it right. And I think that ever since Ronaldo's left, it's been a snowball effect where as the snowball's gone down the hill, it's got bigger and bigger and bigger. And what happened literally 2 months or a month but after Ronaldo's interview, the Glazers put on Manchester United for sale because of the amount of backlash they received from Cristiano Ronaldo's interview. And it just shows that even though Ronaldo wanted to leave Manchester United, he still cares about the club, still wants the best for Manchester United. And whether you think Ronaldo's the GOAT or not, he will always be the GOAT in my heart because he stepped up and said on live TV, and because he knew the backlash that would come from it. He's a very intelligent man, and he knew what would happen from Ronaldo. So, what are your thoughts on Ronaldo? Do you think that he was right for slating the club, or do you think he could have gone a better way about it?
Of course. With regard to Ronaldo's interview, I've always backed him with the ownership. Like he's right. Now, I was so happy when he was talking about the ownership because when have we ever had our own, obviously, player coming out in interviews talking about the ownership? So I'm happy about that. It's just that the most part, I think, where United fans got angry is when he called that Ten Hag. But for him to talk about the ownership, I was happy, man. I was happy. He was right because if a player's coming out in a big interview like this, calling out ownership, and then Glazers watching that, they must have. I think that's where they decided to sell the club because they realized, oh no, like they've fucked themselves. So for me, Ronaldo was right. Like I've defended him where he was talking about the ownership, but obviously not when he was calling out Ten Hag for me.
Yeah, I agree, pal. I think Ronaldo really helped Manchester United with this Glazer sale. Now, obviously, people say that Ronaldo was washed, all this stuff, but they're just the idiot fans who actually can't see the bigger picture here. Like, yes, Ronaldo wasn't performing on the pitch. Yes, he was having issues with Erik ten Hag, but for what Ronaldo has done, he's almost got the Glazers out of Manchester United, which is more than what anyone could ask for. Now, obviously, there is that fear that Sir Jim Ratcliffe and the Glazers are the owners of Manchester United, which would be the worst scenario. And I don't care if it's the Qataris or I don't care if it's, like I said, I don't care who it is. As long as we get a competent owner, that's all I care about. And it does seem that the front runners are Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Jassim, Sheikh Jassim, whatever he's called. So I just want the Qataris because I think that is the right step towards Manchester United's future. And what no one else is talking about as well is that it's affecting Erik ten Hag. It's affecting our summer plans because Erik ten Hag is obviously it's his first season. He's exceeded everyone's expectations. Every Manchester United fan's expectations, he's blown out the water. We never thought we'd win a trophy. We never thought we'd be secure in the top four. And Erik ten Hag has done amazing this season as Manchester United. It's only his first season. But you see like major accounts on Twitter, social media, talking about United are linked to this player, linked to this player, linked to this player. How? We don't know who the new owners are. The Glazers are probably not going to invest anyone. So at the end of the day, until this sale is fully done, it is postponing Erik ten Hag's rebuild. And the Glazers have said they back every manager they've ever appointed. Bullshit to that because there's been countless managers who've wanted certain players and the Glazers either refuse to pay the money or they go out and get someone else. And it's crazy because United probably make the most money out of any Premier League club. And we don't see it. We don't see it. And obviously the wages are a massive issue. But again, that's just down to the poor ownerships. That's down to stupid contracts from the likes of Ed Woodward, John Murtagh, Richard Arnold, all these guys that have been at the club for ages. And if the Qataris are appointed, I know that they will all get their contracts terminated because the Qataris won't give anyone a chance. It's their club now. They will appoint the right people. They'll appoint the best of the best in each department, and they will make Manchester United great again. Look at Manchester City. Look at the threat that Newcastle are going to be. It's like people talk about Liverpool, about how what's it called? What's the Liverpool's owner
FSG, yeah.
FSG, that's it. It's like they obviously haven't invested millions and millions into Klopp's system, and Jurgen Klopp has done wonders with Liverpool. That might be right, but I hear Liverpool fans and see Liverpool fans all over Twitter saying that they want FSG out. And if it wasn't for Jurgen Klopp, FSG would receive the same backlash as the Glazers have from Manchester United fans. But because Liverpool fans have seen glory, they've won Champions Leagues, they've won the Premier League in the last 5 to 10 years, They won't receive that. But I know now that Liverpool fans will not accept FSG like dropping his standards now, because they will want to challenge Manchester City now. And it's crazy. But anyway, let's have a look at the comments. So Simon Davis says, yeah, Ronaldo got it right. Obviously, that's a bit a while ago. But yeah, Ronaldo did get it right, as we've already said. What's this one? Well said. All this messing about stuff surely must disrupt things. It does. And obviously, United are linked to Jeremy Frimpong. We're linked to Harry Kane. We're linked to Kim Min Jae. We're linked to everyone. But at the end of the day, why are Manchester City where they are? Because they get their shit done early and they build a connection with the team. It's like, look at Erling Haaland. He's a great example. Came into the Premier League. Some people doubted him. Some people knew like how much potential he had. But at first, he was an out-and-out goal scorer that needed the service. Now, I see it. At the end of the season, he's much like Harry Kane plays. He drops in deep. He helps the link-up play. He's still a threat going forward. Erling Haaland has now become the perfect striker, in my opinion. And that's down to coaching. That's down to the right ownership. And that's down to time. And the thing is with the Glazers is that they've also not given many managers time throughout the history of Manchester United. Once they don't get top four, or once a protest happens or something like that, it always falls down to the manager's fault and the Glazers sack him. They never take responsibility for their own actions. Mick, nice to see you, pal. Wax on, wax off. Yes, Mr. Mick Yagi, as we know. But yes, nice to see you, pal. Make sure you get your questions in the comments as well, and just saying what questions you want us to answer. But anyway, Oris, just out of curiosity, do you think that the Glazers will stay in power? Obviously, it's rumoured right now, but like obviously we both want Qataris in, but do you think there's a possibility that the Glazers do stay?
Honestly, it would not surprise me. But my expectation is, I think they will definitely go. I think this week, I think it's gonna be a huge week. I think we all know who's gonna be the preferred bidder. So, but listen, by no means, there's still a chance that the Glazers are staying, because I remember a few months ago, FSG was like, oh yeah, they were part for sale. Then a few months later, then they decided to stay. So it literally, if Glazers decide to stay, it would not surprise me. And the thing is, they would be stupid to stay, because they know the amount of that next protest, if they do stay the day after that, mate, it's gonna get more toxic, man. And I genuinely think that protest, obviously the day that they announced that they were staying, that protest will probably be the Liverpool protest. So for me, I hope they don't. I don't think they will, but listen, it wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me.
Yeah, and Mick's saying here, no, they will not stay. Mate, I wish I had your confidence, because there's just like, it's a 50-50 at this point, in my opinion, where the Glazers are either staying or they're not. It's not percentage. It's not like the bookies where you've got like a 12-1 odds if the Glazers stay or not. I think it's perfectly even 50-50. It's either Sir Jim Ratcliffe or it's the Qataris. That's how it is now. There's no other people in for Manchester United as we know of. And I don't think that there's going to be some random billionaire that just swoops in and picks up Manchester United for 7 billion, because that's not going to happen. Investment and high valued bankers have come in and valued Manchester United at 2.8 billion, which is the most any club has been valued at right now. But the Glazers, being the Glazers, want double that. They want up to £5-6 billion for the club, because they know how much it's worth. They know how much of an asset it is, and they will be sorted for life. Their kids, their kids' kids, their kids' kids. They will be sorted for generations in wealth. But we know the Glazers, the businessmen. They're not normal people. They're not like me and you who care about Manchester United and want the best for the club. For them, it's an investment, and for them, they just want money. And you know what? If you're rich, that's probably how you want to, because obviously say the rich get richer, and that's all that happens. But Aidan Barry, a good friend of mine, has said, I think Joel and Avram want to keep 20% of their shares. That's what I read this week. Yeah, we've already covered it, that it's 20% or 21% as what's been reported. As if Sir Jim Ratcliffe comes for Manchester United, it will be 51% ownership for Sir Jim Ratcliffe, 20% for Joel and Avram Glazer, and then the other shares are just from other investments and the owners. It's not all being bought out. And I just really hope that the Qataris do buy Manchester United. But right now, it's just repeating ourselves. We want the Glazers out. And as we know, green and gold till the club is sold. That's what it is. I mean, after the Aston Villa game near the tunnel of in the Stretford end, Eric Ten Hag got thrown a green and gold scarf and he picks it up and waves it in the air and throws it back into the crowd. Obviously, it's taken out of context and people saying, oh, Eric Ten Hag's Glazers out, this and this. I don't believe that. I think Eric Ten Hag is not going to be vocal about the Glazers until they leave, which will probably be never at this rate, because we know that what would they rather do? Would they rather take the 5 to 6 billion that the Qataris offer and just take that for him? Or would they rather take I don't even know, probably about 1 or 2 billion off Sir Jim Ratcliffe and then keep their 20% and still be making money? They're gonna choose a second option. They're not gonna choose and step away from the club. They're not going to do that. And when the reports first started happening, I think it was about 2 months ago, when I said that Glazers were looking for investment to try and stay at the club, that's when I was like, oh God, this is where things could go sour, this is where things can go wrong, and this is where things might take a turn and we won't get the full sale. And like I said, I just hope the Glazers go, but realistically, what can we do as fans? We can attend the protests. We can say it until we're blue in the face. We can post it until our fingers can't type anymore on our social medias. They're not going to give a shit. They're looking down at us and laughing at us. Like, it's crazy. Like, these fans that did an amazing protest yesterday, they still went to Old Trafford and watched the game. They're still funding them with the season ticket. They're still funding them with the Manchester United shirts they've bought over the years. And I'm being a hypocrite because I've bought Manchester United shirts because I want to represent my club. I want to show that I'm a proud Manchester United supporter. But at the end of the day, it always goes back to the top. And that's the frustrating thing. But, what do we actually do to get the Glazers out? Because there's nothing as fans we can actually do. All we can do is make our voices heard, really.
The thing is, what's funny is, for me, with protest, I'm okay with that, but you're still going back inside. For me, I know it sounds crazy and funny, but we literally did it against Liverpool. Why can't we do a pinch invasion? Because for me, the whole UK media will be onto that, because a pinch invasion would, everyone would be watching that, but some protest and then going back inside, I'm not with that, man. I'm not into that, man. I'm really not, because you're going back, still paying them, and I'm still seeing people going to the mega store. So what's the even point? Because half of this fan base still want to buy some merchandise. So for me, we have to. It's about unity, man. Pitch invasion is what I will do. It sounds crazy, but that's the most ideal.
I could just see you galloping on a horse, just being like, Glazers out, just like running on the field.
Literally, that's what we did against Liverpool. Some lucky guys broke into the stadium. I don't know how they did that, but yeah. But no, it will be chaotic if they do decide to stay down. It will be chaotic.
Yeah. Well, I have 3 questions left for you, because obviously I'm not going to take up much of your time, because it's 10 o'clock at night right now, and I really appreciate you coming on tonight.
Nice.
But Gary Neville, one of the biggest voices as a Manchester United fan, as we know, is a Manchester United legend. But I just want to build up a query about Gary Neville, that he has not been vocal about the Glazers since the Super League. Now, after the Super League, he's been probably one of the biggest Glazers out fans, and he's been promoting all over his social media. He's been retweeting, quote tweeting, all these fans attending protests, saying this is how it should be done, this and this. But Gary, since the Super League, you were not vocal about the Glazers out, and it was only because the Glazers tried taking Manchester United away from the Premier League, because all the gigantic clubs, your AC Milans, your Real Madrid, your Barcelonas, all these other teams in different leagues that have absolutely messed up their leagues want bigger and financial risk, and they want bigger and financial profits, and that's why the Super League was under negotiation. But the Premier League is already the Super League. It's not. But this is what makes the Premier League perfect, and every single league wants the Premier League because it's entertaining. You get fans all over the world watching the Premier League, and that's why Gary Neville was uproared about it, because his job was at risk, and his club that he loved, and the meaning of Manchester United was at risk as well. But I just want to know that one of the biggest United fans out there, who has one of the biggest voices as well, who is on the platform of Sky Sports, who obviously has a massive following on Twitter, I don't know why it took him so long to say Glazers out, and it just baffles me.
Yeah.
So, what are your opinions on Gary Neville with the Glazers? Because obviously it's clear that he doesn't like him, but why do you think it took him so long to actually say Glazers out?
For me, it's weird, you know. He's been quiet now, but it's weird. I mean, I only took him because he saw that the mess, the Super League mess, and United fans on Twitter as soon as the Super League was announced. But I just I can't understand why Gary Neville has been so quiet now about the Glazers, because he must have known. He knows, surely knows now that we're trying our best to get them out, and so trying to get Sheikh Jassim, but I just can't understand. Maybe he's been told not to say anything. Maybe this, something's gonna happen this week. But since then, I just don't know. But I just think he only called out the Glazers when Super League was announced because he saw the reaction from the United fans. And I remember, did he not call out? I think he called them the Glazers at the beginning when we lost to Brentford this season. But that's it really. And then now, since Glazers announced the trying to sell the club, he's been a bit quiet. So it shocked me, but maybe he's been told not to say anything.
Yeah, and with Gary Neville, he's his own person, and like I said, he has a massive platform. But if I was as passionate as Gary Neville says he is about Manchester United, I would be making my voice heard a lot more. I would be attending the protests. I would be the front runner. And Gary Neville will never do that because of what the media would do to him. But anyway, the last part is the summer plans. So obviously we've kind of briefly talked about it, but do you think summer is at risk? And do you think the sale will be done by the end of the season or before the summer transfer window opens?
I mean, this summer is going to be crazy. It's going to be wild, man, because I've already seen reports. Ten Hag he basically wants the signings before pre-season starts. I don't know how that's going to be possible for me. For me, I've got a theory that end of May is when it gets announced that someone buys us. I think a new owner will be in time. I think they'll come in time for the summer, but it depends when we get our signings, man, because it might get delayed. These parasites again, man, they keep going to third round, second round. That's what annoys us, man, because these little third rounds, it annoys us because it delays the summer. It might even delay our signings. Like Chelsea got going for Kane. We might lose our signing. So for me, listen, there's going to be, in my theory, I think they'll come in time, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get signings way too late, around July, August. But that's going to upset Ten Hag. There's going to be reports saying that Ten Hag's furious he's getting the signings late because he wants it before his preseason starts. So yeah, that's what I think for me.
Yeah, I mean, with the summer plans, it is tough because it seems that we're being reported to goalkeepers, right backs, centre backs, midfielders, forwards. We're linked to pretty much everyone over the summer. We're linked to Neymar this morning because apparently he wants to leave PSG, which is ridiculous. But I'm pretty sure there's for the last 3 seasons now that Neymar wants to come to Manchester United. It's bollocks, I think. And the thing is that with the summer plans is that you've pretty much hit the nail on the head that our signings will probably come late. But I know that for years now, Manchester United have been late when it comes to the transfers. We don't get the chemistry. It takes ages to build these relationships. We don't get to work with them into the team and work with them throughout pre-season also, because that's the best time to bring in your summer transfer targets. But look at the way this season started. We brought in Christian Eriksen. We brought in Malacia. We brought in Antony, Casemiro, and Alessandro Martinez. That was at the start of this season. Now, Casemiro, we were linked to Rabiot, if you remember, and out of nowhere, Richard Arnold or John Mert, whoever it was, got the Casemiro deal sorted because we didn't get Frankie de Jong. Now, that was a late deal, and Casemiro has been absolutely exceptional for Manchester United. But at the end of the day, what are we going to do about that? Like late signings have succeeded in the past, but we want to be efficient. We want to get our shit done almost, and we just need to be ahead if we want to succeed. If we want to be ahead of everyone in the summer, then we've got to make sure that we get our deal sorted. Now, it can either go one or two ways. The Glazers do what they've always done and just say the money's not there, or that they'll just postpone it and they'll just pay it when we get the players. Or two, whoever the new owner is gives the Glazers the money for the first transfer window, and the Glazers, while still in power, if the sale is not done, then the Glazers spend the money and it comes from the new owners, just so that the new owners, when they're coming into Manchester United, when all the contracts are signed over, then that's when the United succeed, and the Qataris or whoever buys Manchester United gives the investment, so Manchester United and behind almost. But if the worst come to worst scenario actually is the Glazers don't sell till Christmas, and hopefully hopefully Qataris buy Manchester United and kind of do what Newcastle did last season, where they just invest a lot in the January, and that's their summer transfer window. But again, by the time you do that, half the season's already gone. You want to be there at the start. You want to get your players in before pre-season, and that's the way things have to be. And it is very frustrating, but there's nothing we can do. But what are your opinions on it? Do you really think that we will be able to get our business done early, or do you think that it's going to be as it always is and we just get deals done very late?
The thing is, why I said before about getting rid of Merton Arnold is important, because those two, we've seen it last summer. Both of them spent 2 months on trying to get this Frankie de Jong guy, and they bottled it. So we can't have this nonsense where we get linked to a player for 2 months and then nothing happens. We can't have that. We need, obviously, what I believe is Qatar will come in, get proper upstairs, and they got the job done early. I believe if Qatar come in, clear out Merton and Arnold, I believe signings can done early and quickly. It depends on the structure for me. The structure is so important. And if we can have proper men doing transfers quickly, then I believe we can get signings quickly. But if both of them do stay, I don't see them coming. I see only signings coming after pre-season ends if both of them remain at the club. So that's what I believe.
Yeah, I see your point, mate. And like we've said, it is very frustrating, but only time will tell. But obviously, this has been a learning curve for me. It's been a learning curve for everyone, because no one expected the Glazers to sell at any point. If you was to say last year to all the United fans that this time next year Manchester United will be up for sale by the Glazers, what would your reaction be? You'd be like, "Oh my god, this!" Like your head would fall off. But hopefully it happens. But if the Glazers are actually smart and don't think of their wallets for once, they will actually realise in the long haul that their lives would actually be much better far away from Manchester United. And that's not because of the money they're doing. It's not because of everything. It's because that United fans would actually be off their backs. Like, they won't be receiving death threats. They won't be receiving, hateful mail and all this crap. Do you know what I mean? They won't be getting followed by Sky Sports on their holidays and being ambushed with interviews. Do you know what I mean? They'd be free. And I think that the Glazers, majority of the Glazer family want to sell Manchester United. It's just Joel and Avram who don't want to sell. And obviously they are the main names when it comes to Manchester United. Yeah. But, that's just what happens at the end of the day. But anyway, that's been the stream. Thank you for watching, Orist. Thank you for actually sharing the stream. I really appreciate it. Do you want to just promote your channel and say where people can find you?
Yeah, man. Big up family on, and it's always a pleasure speaking to you, man. It's been a long time. But yeah, you can find me at Orist Football on YouTube, where I do Premier League stuff, Man United stuff as well. So yeah, big up family on.
Yeah, I really appreciate you coming on. But anyway, thank you to everyone who's tuned in tonight. I really appreciate it. Thank you to the guys in the comments. You're great as always. And just a question for the stream: that should every video be a live stream from now on, or do you prefer the YouTube short, do you prefer the TikToks, or do you prefer just standard normal videos? But I'm just trying to mix it up. And if anyone could message me or put in the comments that what would you prefer, I'd really appreciate that. So yes, because obviously I'm all about listening to the audience and growing this channel, and hopefully eventually get into that 1,000 sub mark, and just becoming bigger and better and building a bigger and better community. But I want to engage with my audience. I want to make sure that you guys feel connected to me, and we'll do fan meetups very soon if any of you would be interested in that. But anyway, thank you for watching. You've all been amazing. Thank you for everyone who's tuned in. And Oris, again, massive thank you to you as well. And I'll see you all in the next podcast or end live stream. But yeah, thank you.